Welcome back. It is Tuesday, April 23rd in the NBA. My two best bets are on the way. It's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Let's dive into a recap from yesterday. Back-to-back really bad days for us. Let's talk about the 0-3 day yesterday. Now, Banchero, bad read on my end, is over in PRAs, and as I sprinkled a little bit on the triple-double. That man ran away from every single rebound known to man. He and the Magic stunk. I'm curious what lines they get for Game 3 when they go back to Orlando. Banchero, I own that one. Our other two ones, man, we could not buy a shot, just like either of those two guys. Jalen Brunson's over in points. You told me at the beginning of the night, hey, Austin, Brunson's going to shoot 29 times plus get 9 free throw attempts. I probably make that a bigger play than one unit. He just could not buy a bucket the second straight game. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, the Sixers have had his number. Look, it's Jalen Brunson. If he's attempting that many shots, heck, if any player is attempting that many shots, they probably should go over. He just was missing a lot of easy shots that we're used to seeing him make. Curious what line he gets for Game 3 in Philly. And then Austin Reeves, once those two failed, I was like, my confidence is shot. We've lost several in a row. Reeves is not going to come through, and he didn't. He had 9 points, missed 5 of his first 6 shots, and you just knew it wasn't. He was missing wide open threes and stuff like that. Curious what his line is for Game 3 because we might run it back. But either way, the last few days, I know they've been painful. Painful for you guys if you're tailing, painful for me. Typically what happens in these stretches is we just got to bounce back out of it. And what's going to happen is a lot of you guys that might have tailed the last 2 days definitely aren't tailing today. So it's probably 2-0 sweep. You'll come back here, see, 5-0 running the title. You'll start tailing then, and then we'll have a losing day or two. It's just how it always works. Ebbs and flows. It's the NBA playoffs. Last few days, I mean, we've had 2 bad reads. I'll come out and say Banchero yesterday and Hero 2 days before, bad reads. But outside of that, Brunson, I'd argue, probably should have gone over. Reeves with 11 shots probably should go over. And then Herb Jones the other day, whatever, too. And Pat Connaughton. Just painful. It's the NBA playoffs. You're going to have shots go in and out. It is what it is. Let's move on to today, though. I got 2 picks. Not going to force a third. Just going to do 2 that I really like. And I honestly think this should be a 2-0 card. We're just going to dive into the first one. It's going to be Mr. Rudy Gobert, and I like his under 27.5 points plus rebounds, which is currently about minus 120 on DraftKings. Now, a couple books have this at 26.5. I don't mind that. I don't mind either of his unders in points or rebounds. For a guy like Rudy Gobert, though, I feel like sometimes you might get a random game where he gets you 7 rebounds, and also some games you might just get random like 5 points. He's capable of those really bad rebounding or point schemes. So I like combining them together. I don't want to take PRAs because he's not like it's much higher than the points plus rebounds line. Now, in game 1 of this series against the Suns, obviously, Rudy Gobert had a pretty good game. He logged 37 minutes. He ended with 14 points and 16 rebounds, good for 30 points plus rebounds. He had 6 offensive rebounds in that game. Now, if you were watching that one, Rudy was a big, difference maker. He was pretty good on the defensive side. That's obviously where he makes his money. But he also had a lot of offensive rebounds with easy tip-ins. In the first half alone, he had 2 offensive rebounds, which were like tip dunks or easy lands. And he even had another one where he got fouled. And in my opinion, offensive rebounds, a lot of it comes down to effort. And you see like the New York Knicks, a team that gives you max effort nonstop. They get a lot of offensive rebounds, but at the same time, it is something that you can try to limit. And the Suns didn't do a good job. Neither have really the Sixers either. They lost that game. We're not going to talk about that. But this is a Suns team out-rebounded by 24 rebounds in Game 1, 10 more offensive rebounds for Minnesota. In my opinion, this is a Phoenix Suns team. An easy fix. You got to clean the defensive glass. Kevin Durant, go up strong, get those rebounds. Everyone has to rebound. Yusuf Nurkic, grab those boards. And if they grab those boards, I don't see a lot of ways for Gobert, who relies heavily on putback opportunities to score. And in Rudy's 5 previous games versus Phoenix, he had ended with 22, 12, 10, and 28 points plus rebounds. I think that might have been 4, but you get what I mean. He had not been playing pretty well against them, and I expect him to kind of struggle in this one. He obviously is not a guy that really, is not going to post up guys much. He's going to really be counting on those pick and rolls and things of that nature. And if he doesn't get those opportunities, I can see him struggling to score, and the rebounds might not also be there. This is the Suns team that was 3rd best in allowing fewest rebounds per game in the NBA, hence why Rudy Gobert struggled against them. And also, Rudy got some beneficiary of a couple extra minutes because Karl-Anthony Towns was in foul trouble. Kyle Anderson left the game with an injury. He practiced yesterday. I expected him to play, and Kyle Anderson is a guy that's in that rotation, so they'll use him for minutes. So I think this is a good spot to fade Rudy. Sure, he probably goes crazy as one of my computer screens stopped working, but he probably goes crazy. But I really don't like Rudy's matchup in this series. So give me his under 27.5 points plus rebounds. I'm sure it's sweaty because that's how every under is, but I really like the under in this spot to fade Rudy Gobert. Now my second pick, going to go to the Pacers versus Bucks series. And I'm going to actually talk about TJ McConnell, the guy I really like, over 10.5 points, which is currently about minus 108 on DraftKings. I don't expect the line to go to 11.5. If it does, you can take it there. Probably like it up to about minus 130. Now, obviously, when you're backing a role player like McConnell who comes off the bench, there's going to be some hit or miss here. If he comes in and doesn't play well, maybe he doesn't get a ton of minutes. But I really feel like he's one of the only guys on this team with a consistent rotation. I mean, Halliburton wasn't great in game one. He probably is better tonight. But McConnell's going to consistently come in there and get you 15 to 20 minutes. I think that's enough to get us 11 points. Now, in game one, if McConnell could do it, give us the same usage as he had in game one, I'd probably make this a 3-unit bet because McConnell ended with 10 points right on the hook. He shot 5 of 13 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, and he played 18 minutes. Like I said, I think he's kind of locked into that 16 to 20-minute role. If his unit's playing really well, maybe a couple extra minutes. Units playing poorly like it kind of did in game one, probably not a ton of minutes. But like I said, 13 field goal attempts, that's elite. I mean, for a guy coming off the bench, he's playing with a lot of low usage guys, and I think he's going to continue to get those opportunities. The Bucks are a team that plays heavy drop coverage. Now, they were doing a better job against Halliburton, but against a guy like McConnell who really doesn't shoot threes, they're going to continue to play that drop coverage. And I think McConnell could get to where he wants to go, which is about the mid-range, and knock down those shots. I mean, McConnell, 53% of his points this season have come via being the pick and roll ball handler. The Bucks ranked 28th defensively against that action, and you know he's not going to get Pat Bev on him. Pat Bev's going to guard Halliburton, and they're going to kind of mirror those minutes. I think he's going to continue to see a lot of high usage. I mean, we saw when they lost Benedict Mathurin, we've seen McConnell become a big high usage guy off the bench. His last 17 games, basically all since Mathurin went down, he's averaged almost 15 points per game, over 14, over this line at 14 of 17, and he scored 10 plus points in 16 of 17, averaging about 12 field goal attempts and about 19 minutes per game. So like I said, basically on brand with what we've seen over in the game one, got the similar amount of field goal attempts, similar amount of minutes. He just didn't knock down his shots. It's a guy in McConnell that's normally a pretty efficient guy because he's not shooting a lot of threes. However, this season, McConnell is over in 68% of games with 8 or more shots, 81% with 10 or more shots. He shot 56% on the season, 40% from 3. Look, while McConnell's not a three-point shooter, 40% from 3, when he shot 3 of them in game one, maybe if one of those goes in, he goes over. Simple as that. I know it's kind of a sketchy one. It could feel like a dart throw, but I really think McConnell's going to continue to see that usage. Sure, they did not play well in game one, but it was a large part. His unit didn't play too well, but McConnell's just a part of that rotation. He's just the guy that they trust with the ball in his hands. He makes good decisions, and he's going to have a lot of wide open shots down below and get into the mid-range, get to his spot. So I like McConnell a lot tonight. I like his over 10.5 points. I know people might want to take his under, but I think that's going to be a little bit sketchy. I mean, you think about the guys he's coming on the court with: Obi Toppin, Jalen Smith, Ben Shepherd. Those are guys that really honestly they're catch and shoot guys. They don't do much more than that. They're going to need McConnell to continue to be aggressive. So I really like his over 10.5 points tonight. I really think it's a good spot to back TJ McConnell. I know it might come out of left field, but given how we've done the last 2 days, I'm willing to get a little bit different. Take a role player like McConnell, who I think gets the usage. I think he gets 8 to 10 shots. For a guy that normally shoots pretty efficiently, I'll take my chances on TJ McConnell getting the job done. So give me his over 10.5 points, minus 108 on DraftKings. Now, those are my only 2 favorite picks of the day. Mavs and Clippers is the one game I'm not touching. There was something I was looking at. I don't mind. That's just a hard game to really read because no one showed up for the Mavs outside of Kyrie and Luka. Someone's going to show up on their team. The question is, who is it going to be today? I have no idea. Gafford and Lively have to play better on Ivica Zubac. But at the end of the day, I don't really have a great read on that series. That's not a game one that I really watched any of because I was busy. But I will be watching game 2, and I'll probably have a pick in that one for game 3. But it's just a series that I'm still trying to kind of figure out what's going to happen. I mean, game 2s can be a little bit tricky because you see teams making a ton of adjustments, and you kind of have to figure out those on the fly. So I'm going to go with these 2 picks. Rudy Gobert's under in points plus rebounds, and TJ McConnell's over in points. I think that's a 2-0 card. Let's bounce back after the last few days. We're still up 11 units in April, so it's still been a very good April so far, but obviously the last few days have been just disgusting, especially if you've been tailing the MLB picks too, where we just can't buy a win over there too. Both sports being cold at the same time. That's very unusual, but it is what it is. We're going to move on. We're going to move down, and we're going to hopefully have a 2-0 day here. And on the MLB, we have 3 picks over there. We're having a 3-0 card. We're going 5-0 today across both sports. And I will see you guys back again tomorrow with some more picks, hopefully recapping a 2-0 day. I'll see you guys then. Peace.